よし、じゃあやっていきましょう。残るはメデューサを問い詰めに行こうっていう感じになってるんですけど、フレディとアポロと会話できるんで、どうしようかな。フレディと話してみようかな。気晴らしに。
Hey, hey, so what's the news, Miss Muse?
Miss Muse.
やめてよ。
Well, does a muse have a proper form of address? I just want to hear what exciting adventures you've been having.
Well, I went to a party held by the goddess of love. And she
最悪な知らせから。
died.
Man, I always miss the really good parties. Here I was, sitting at home, just reading a book. Everything else okay, though? Do we know who the killer is yet?
Not
全
just
く。
yet, no.
Okay, well, let me know if there's anything I can do. If I have to hustle to become your high priestess, well, so be it.
どのタイミングで役に立つんそれは。カズとブライアンは、いや、すっかり忘れてたけど。
What are Kaz and Brian up to? You didn't tell them anything, did you?
Oh, I told them you came home, that you're okay, but that you're having a moment. They send their love.
Should we tell them, do you think?
What for? They have their own problems. Plus, Brian can't keep a secret to save his life, and Kaz is officially homeless.
Is he still crashing
カズ
on
ホーム
Brian's
レスな
couch?
の
Grace,
あ、そうなんだ。
you do know that Brian doesn't have a couch, right? Just some giant beanbag things?
Then where
ビー
is
ズの
Kaz
ソファー。
Oh.
Yeah, it's cute. They'll tell us when they're ready.
あ、あいつら
But
付き合っ
right
てん
now,
の
it's best just to not mix them up in this.
そうなんだ。まあ、この時代何も言わないけど。バンドのことごめんね。なんか、いろいろ忙しくて。もう、俺死にそうなんだもんだって。
I should really apologize about the band. This kind of puts a dent in your plans, doesn't it?
You're right, Grace. How dare you sabotage my dreams? I am so mad I could spit.
You know what I
Ready?
mean. Nobody could have seen this coming, sure, but it's always been something with me.
Well, as I see it, there are two ways this goes down. One, neither of us gets back to the band. It was just a thing we did for a while before I founded a cult in your name. Or two, we get back to it and the band now has the Muse as its lead singer. Edge of Elysium becomes the coolest and most appropriate band name ever.
Ugh, I still really hate that name.
Look, Grace, you can't be the
Edge
source
of
of all the
Elysium.
drama and name the band, okay? That's the rule.
とりあえず、アイドルはどうやって隠されてきたの？フレディに聞いてわかるようなもんか？
You know what I find weird? That the idols have managed to remain completely secret all these years. Sure, they have magic and whatnot, but in all this time, nobody's found them out? Athena is that good?
Who says nobody has found them out? The way I see it, it's like UFOs.
UFO。
Okay, I have to hear this.
Okay, so you could have real evidence that UFOs exist and that governments have covered it up and people still wouldn't believe it.
まあそうね。
Why? Because they'd get laughed at if they
普通に頭お
admitted
かしいやつ
it.
だからな。
Imagine the headline. Greek gods exist and are living among us. What website would even run that?
Weird conspiracy ones. Yeah, you're right.
そうね。まあたまにいるけどね。神について何を知ってる？詳しいもん
Exactly
な、フ
how
レディ。
much do you know about the Greek gods, Freddie?
I know my Greek mythology, but what I've read clearly doesn't line up with who they are today. Or who they ever were, maybe.
Still might be useful. There's got to be some truth to those stories, right?
Maybe? Who do you want to hear about?
アポロ。
What about Apollo?
Okay, so the prophecy stuff checks out. Apollo was god of the sun and light, but
太陽と光の神。
also kind of enlightenment
啓発の神。
in general. He's always
めっちゃ
talked
金
about
備え
as
て
this
んな。
beautiful and cultured god involved with the arts and the muses, kind of a Renaissance man before the Renaissance.
He's clearly had a rough time since those days.
Well, he was also a giant horn dog.
式
Grace.
状
I can
況。
list off like a dozen men and women Apollo has had as lovers, and there's probably more.
Weren't they all like that, though?
まあ確かに神みんなそんな感じだ
Apollo's
もん。
no Zeus. He never assaulted anyone as a swan. And no, they aren't all like that. Our sun god had a reputation.
ペルセポーネ。
Tell me what you know about Persephone.
Honestly, she's the least like her stories. Usually, she's either a victim or just the wife
被害者
of
かハデ
Hades
スの
or
妻
both.
か。
And that's it? She was kidnapped by Hades and
特
the
に
story?
なんか話ないの？
Pretty much. Her mother was so angry she created winter.
それが特に何もない。
Otherwise, Persephone was
そうな
just
んだ。
your average sweet and virginal fertility goddess.
可愛くて純潔
You're
な。
right. That doesn't sound like her at
想
all.
像できねえ。
Must be hard to be defined by this one thing that happened to you thousands of years ago. I'd be pissed if everyone thought my story ended there.
Well, she is pretty pissed. That much is true.
確かに。パーン。もうパーンとカリオペって聞いたことすらないんだけど。
You said Pan was some kind of lust god, right?
Yeah, kind of. Pan's a god of the wild, and I guess that translates into a sort of lustfulness and earthiness, humping nymphs in the
すげえ
forest
嫌なそ
sort of thing.
嫌そうな
And
顔
you
してる
don't。like him.
Honestly, he's exactly what I'd expect him to be. All the stories say he's a lech and a beast. The Christians equated him with the devil.
あ、そうなんだ。
Weirdly, he's also the only god who's supposed to have died, though it's never really clear how or why. Anyhow, there's a great statue depicting Pan having sex with a goat. Next time you see him, you gotta ask.
そんな像があるの？めちゃくちゃ不名誉だな。カリオペについて。
Do you know anything about
これが
the
一番気になる
muses?
な。
Or Calliope in particular?
Yeah, for starters, there were supposed to be 9, though I guess there are some sources that said there were only 4, maybe 3.
9
Each
に
of
もい
the
るんだ。
muses had her specialty. Did you know that Calliope is supposed to be the muse of epic poetry? She inspired the Odyssey.
叙々詩。
Wow. I don't even like poetry.
Yeah, it was said her singing voice was unmatched. So they got that part right, at least.
Did
So
she
now-
also lead the ancient Greeks in giant choreographed dance numbers?
No, but she once turned a bunch of snobby princesses
鳥
into
に変身させた？
magpies.
やたら
What
鳥
was
出て
that?
くんな。ゼウスもなんか白鳥に変身してなかったっけ？で、アテナは？
What about Athena? Is she really supposed to be the goddess of wisdom?
Sure, but mostly that's meant as tactical knowledge. Athena wasn't all sweetness and light. She
戦いの
was
方
a
の知恵か。
warrior goddess. She was also the goddess of heroes. There are loads of stories where Athena helps guys like Odysseus or Jason or Perseus.
No female heroes back in
聞い
those
たことあ
days?
る名前ばっかりだ。
Yeah, guess not. Women were the weaker sex, which maybe is why Athena was portrayed as being vindictive. She cursed Medusa, one of her
今の
own
時代だったら
priestesses.
怒られ
She
そうだ
turned
な。
people into spiders, struck them blind, started the Trojan War. It's the whole thing.
Not being as wise as advertised is on brand for her then.
聞かれてたらどうすんだよこれ。アイドルについて尋ねる。
Just how many of these gods are there? From what I've heard, lots of idols live around here.
Well, there are tons of minor gods in Greek mythology, hundreds even, depending on how you define them. Oddly, there's never
そんな
any
にいるんだ。
mention of the word idols in relation to them. Maybe it's like how people worshipped idols?
I sort of assumed it was related to the eidolon.
Which is a Greek word, but I think it means ghost. An image of someone after they die.
Makes sense.
Me, I'm more amazed at all the big names missing. Not just Zeus and Hades, most of the Olympians seem to be gone. Makes you think about what's been lost. But also, what might still be out there.
確かに、もう主役級の神がまだ出てきてないよね。さっき言ったゼウスとか。今後出てくんのかな？まあ、アテナとかはね、結構有名な人ではある、神ではあると思うけど。他の神について。
You think there might be other gods out there?
Well, there are all those gods the idols say wandered off. We don't know they're dead for sure, right? They could be living it up in Australia. Who would know?
なんでそこに
Then there are all the other mythologies, hundreds of cultures, each with their own pantheon. So what's so special about the Greeks? That only their gods are real, right? All those other pantheons could be living in secrecy, just like the idols. And that means they're hidden from each other, too. Oh, they could be everywhere and no one would know.
It's like a whole other
みんな
secret
現代的
side
な
to the
格好してんのか
world.
な？
That's cool, right? I hope I get to meet Ganesha one day. Or maybe
ガ
Lakshmi.
ネーシャ。インドらへんだっけ？そこら辺の神が好きなのかな？神話の話はもういいよ。自分から聞いたのに。何その投げやりな感じ。
I wonder how much of those stories are true.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I'm giving you the quick version. There are reams of textbooks out there covering all this, but even they rarely agree with each other.
あ、そうなんだ。
Really?
本
Nothing
によって違うの。
Ancient Greece was 3,000 years ago, Grace. Not much information survived all that time, if it was even valid to begin with.
いやー、ほぼ信用できないけどな。本当にあったとは思えないし。もう質問はないわ。ありがと
Okay, that's enough questions for now.
You sure? I can talk all day. You know I can.
I'll check back with you soon, Freddy. Time for more mystery solving.
う。ありがたいけどね、話してくれんのは。フレディとの時間が一番、心の平穏を保ってるような気がすんな。アポロってまたなんか聞きに行けんの？
Hello again. I can't remember the last time I had guests so frequently. I did tell you we could discuss your memories and the Eidolon more in depth after the party. Did you have any questions or?
なんかあるかなあなたは今まで何回死んだの？
How many times have you died? Can I ask that?
Well, we call it passing on, meeting the Eidolon, and it's fine. I've passed on 12 times that I can recall.
So your name isn't really Apollo.
Most recently it was Lucas.
ルーカス。
Everyone Lucas ever knew is gone, however, so these days I prefer Apollo again.
Lucas? Seems weird to think of you as a Lucas.
It was weird for him too. Much like yourself,
彼にとっても
Lucas
本当にもう
becoming
なんか
Apollo
別の
was
アポロになるん
somewhat
だ
of
ね
a。surprise.
Sounds like there's a story there.
ルーカスについて教えて。まあ確かに聞きたいな。
Tell me about this Lucas. How did he become you? Or is it how you became Apollo?
Apollo had taken to surfing. He left the city without permission and roamed the coast looking for... Well, I'm not sure now. Whatever it was, he found it one night when a giant wave took him down. He was drowning, and I thought,
やっと終わった？
this is finally it. But it wasn't. Lucas saw Apollo struggling and swam out to save him.
あ、ルーカスが助けに行ったのか。
But it was too late. It took a long time to realize what happened. I didn't return to the city until years later. By then, everyone thought I was Apollo's chosen successor.
So no trial for you, huh?
It wasn't easy at first, without memories or anyone to
じゃあ
guide
似たよう
me,
な境
but
遇だな、本当に。
no, nothing like that.
アポロが溺れかけてる時にルーカスがたまたまアポロを見つけて助けたけど、見当虚しくアポロは死んでしまって、ルーカスが次のアポロになったってわけね。でもややこしいな。ルーカスがそこにいなかったら、
Wait, what would have happened if Lucas hadn't tried to rescue
そ
you?
のままアポロって消
What
え
if
て
no
た
one
の？
was there when you...
When I died, then the Eidolon of Apollo's line would have ended forever. I think.
You think?
There have been stories about Eidolons that survive for a time and go wandering. That's probably all they are, though. Stories. It's not something we've had much opportunity to study, but normally death without passing on is how an idol really dies. Forever.
運が良かったのか、どうなのか。でもアポロはさっき言ってたけど、なんかやっと終わったかみたいに言ってたよね。本当は永遠に消えされたかったんじゃないの？どうなんだろう。変化するときに違いを感じる？
When all these memories start to return, will I feel different?
Well, let's see. It starts as dreams you'll have of places you've never been, people you've never met, fleeting images, feelings. And they'll appear while you're awake. You'll be eating breakfast and suddenly recall when you last ate something similar in the 17th century. The only difficult part is that eventually it can be hard to differentiate between your life and all those other lives. They blend together.
It
does sound
控えめに言って
confusing.
最悪なんだけど。
A little, yeah. And not all the memories will be good ones. It can take time to process.
マジ？自分の人生覚えたまま？でも今の聞いたらもう忘れるんじゃないの？あ、でも、そっか、ルーカスの覚えてたもんな、アポロは。 じゃあ覚えてんのか
You
な
said it becomes hard to
な
differentiate
んで
your
翻
life
訳さ
from
れて
the
ないんだ
others.
い
How hard, exactly? It'll still be me, right?
Grace, would you say that who you are is at least in part due to your experiences?
I guess so, sure.
普通そうじゃないの
You'll have a lot more experiences.
あ、そのまま上乗せされて増えるってことか。
It will feel like you did all those things.
あ
They will
あ。
shape who you are now, just as they shaped Calliope and all those who came before her. The good news is, you won't get all the memories. Each time we pass on,
あ、で
the
も
older
そう
memories
な
fade.
そうなのか。古い記憶が消えていくのか。記憶が消えていくのがいいことなの。まあ、パンクしないで済むっていうことではあるのかな。
Wait, how is it good that old memories start to fade?
We're many thousands of years old, Grace. If all of those memories returned with perfect clarity, you'd drown in them.
Yeah, but doesn't that mean you've all forgotten so much?
Tell me, how much do you remember from when you were a small child?
Bits and pieces, I guess. Not much.
そうね。
It's the
それ
same
と同じ
for
こ
us.
と
The further I try to think back, the more blurry it becomes. I remember the important bits, but little else.
ほぼ人
Some
間
of
と
the
同じだ
really
ね。
old memories. There's so many mortal stories that get mixed up with them, things my previous selves learned as legends. It becomes hard to tell. It takes time, Grace. You'll remember all the lives you've led, but at a pace you can handle, and nothing more.
なるほど。ありがと
It's a
う。まあ、
lot to
自分が
consider.
消えるわけじゃないのはちょっ
Assuming
と
I'll
安
even
心
have
したけど。
time to worry about it, what with the trial coming.
Hopefully this eases whatever concerns you might have had. Anything else you'd like to discuss while you're here?
あ、あんのか。他のミューズたちはどうなったの
What happened to the other muses? You mentioned two others. Were they lost in the war?
Cleo perished centuries before,
クリオ。
the victim of an obsessed writer she'd spurned.
作家に殺されたの
Kept her in a cage as his personal muse.
That's pretty
何それ
dark.
It was. By the time we found her, she was already... Well, it's enough to say her captor didn't survive her for long. Talia, however, was lost to us on the very last day of the war. We were about to leave on the ship, but she just never showed up.
なん
Do you
で
know what happened to her?
We never found out. I worried for years, even hired people to look, but as far as I can tell, she up
Taliaの
and
身に何
vanished
が
into smoke that day. The war had ground her down. I was upset, but not surprised.
戦争について詳しく教えて。
Tell me more about the war. It seems to have had a huge effect on all of you.
I don't think we would have left the old world otherwise. It was home.
From Aphrodite's song, I know Ares betrayed everyone. What did you do?
どうした
I caused it.
Eh?
I foresaw what was going to happen, so I tried to prevent it. I told Ares. I figured if the god of war couldn't stop what was to come, then
And that's why he betrayed everyone.
あ
he decided the idols were a lost
あ、なる
cause.
ほど。
Because I told him we were.
ああ、なるほどね。アポロが言ってたってわけね。ひどいわ。でもアポロは止めようとしてアレスに言ったわけでしょ。アレスが勝手に裏切ったわけだからな。今更言ったってしょうがないもんな。予言って最悪だね。まあでもどちらにせよ起こることだったんじゃないの？ちょっと責められないな、アポロを。そこま
Surely
で。
it could have happened anyhow. It was a big war. The biggest.
Perhaps. We'll never know, will we? My time afterwards was spent helping the survivors, keeping us on the move. If Hephaestus hadn't intervened, we would have all been captured.
And he's...
Oh, gone now, we assume, like so many others. We are nothing more than refugees from a war long over, Grace.
新世界に来るの大変だった。
Was it hard for the idols to come to the new world? It's just a place like any other, isn't it?
I don't think it was the place so much as the condition we were in. Shell-shocked, one might say. Our entire world had been turned upside down. Suddenly, we had rules. Secrecy was paramount, and no one was permitted to leave the city. Some, like my sister Artemis, couldn't abide it.
アルティメスは、
Yeah, I've heard
アルテミ
the
ス
name.
は出ていっちゃった。
Goddess of the hunt. And a wild thing herself. She left, I think. Faded away
あ、
without a word.
他のアイドルも出ていったのか。
As many did in the early days here.
え
Later, Athena became even more strict. For our own good, of course, but it hasn't been easy. This city has never felt like home, so much as a
避難所ね
temporary。shelter.
ありがとう。今んとこそれだけだ。
That's all I can think of for now. I'll see you around.
Of course. I look forward to it.
じゃあいよいよメデューサの隠れ家に行きましょうか。レッツゴー。こんな裏路地なの。
This must be the Viper's Nest. Scariest part of town, no sign. Just that one dude
Wow,
glaring at
wow.
everyone.
近づきたくね
I'm here now. Just another day in the life of an idol.
There you are.
Oh,
Man, this
Freddy
place is the worst.
なんか
I think
武器
someone
持ってきてる
peed on me.
Freddie? What are you doing
何
here?
その
What, you thought I wouldn't notice you skulking
鉄
off?
球みたいな
You didn't even bring any equipment, Grace.
メイスが。もうありがとうフレディ大好き。
Freddie, please tell me you don't think you're some kind of adventurer.
I'm sorry. Are you not about to head into a monster's lair at great personal peril? What else would you call that?
You're such a dork. I adore you.
Good, because I'm not about to let you
正
wander in
直
there
助かっ
without
たけどね
backup. Who knows? Maybe the stuff I know about
そ
Medusa
んな
might
武器で何と
actually
かできんのか
apply.
な
Well, that'd
相
be
手
a
神だぞ
switch.
あ、なんだうわ、ちょっと英語でわかんねえな石、なんかメデューサが本当に人々を石に変えられるのかなみたいなこと
Do you think she actually turns people to stone?
Let's hope not, or this could be a short visit. Or a really, really long one.
I'm serious.
Perseus used a mirror to reflect Medusa's gaze back at her.
まあ
Or
そ
maybe
の
use your
話は知ってん
phone.
な携帯
You think that would work?
そんなものが
Unless you
通じるか
brought a
な
mirror, Grace, it's all you got.
確かに現代ならではの攻略方法だな知ってること教えてメデューサのかな
Okay, I'll bite. What do you know about Medusa?
Well, you know, she was human once, right? And she was cursed.
そうなの
Paula mentioned it, yeah.
Cursed by Athena. Or so one of the stories goes, anyway.
But doesn't she work for Athena?
Hey, don't look at me. My knowledge of this stuff stops at a few thousand years ago.
なるほど昔とは違う可能性があるなメデューサって怪物だよねゴルゴーンとは違うのなんか FGO とかのせいでよくわかんないんだけど
She was once human, but she's definitely a monster, right?
Yeah, one of the worst.
結構悪い
But
方
you know, so was the Minute.
そっか
Asterion
ミノ
said
タウル
she
スあれだ
was
ったもんな
scary. I have a feeling she's not like him.
Then I guess you need to be prepared for the possibility that she is as bad as the legends say. Though some of
備えが
the
その
stories
後ろの
also
武
say
器
that she was wronged by Athena and that what was done to her was an injustice.
And Athena just follows the rules, right?
よし行こう行くしかないか
Okay, enough talking. Time to do this.
You have a plan for how we're getting inside, I hope?
Maybe. You're here to help?
Always.
Then I have a plan.
あのトゲトゲ棒が気になるななんだこれ40どうしよっかな注意そらして入るどう注意そらすのやってみよう
Hi, this is where the comic convention is, right? I hope I'm not too late for the signing.
Ma'am, I'm afraid you had the wrong address.
意外と優しい対応
No. Oh, God. No. No, that can't be right. Do you
フレディ
understand the
勇気あるな
indignities that I have endured? The weird looks, the body odors? Someone spilled coffee all over my cosplay outfit. No, do not tell me that I got it wrong. I spent $50 on this ticket. I demand my personal photo.
用心棒。全然仕事しねえじゃねえか。でもフレディ置いてきちゃったけどいいの？お、なんだこれ。死んでる？どうなってんのこれ。うわ。おお。牙がやべえ。こいつがメデューサか。バレてる。あ、逃げた。おー、怖いぞ。でも戦う気はないの。力を貸して。
Before you start the show, Pan said to say hello. That's what he said to say.
Well, any friend of Pan's is a friend of Pan's.
Okay.
パーンの名前が通用しない。全然役に立たない。
There's just some things I need to know. I wish there was another way.
Yes, you do. Now,
わあ、やべえ。石になるか。まずいぞ。スマホ。うわー、ぐるぐるだ。石になる。割と古典的。やめろー。お。
can you say that once again? I missed it.
あれ、喋れない。
Really want to sing, but your silly mouth won't do a thing. It's
これピンチじゃねえ。
that way. I call it the preparation.
あ、これみんな石になってんのか。
You strong,
うわ
but then my dinner.
ー、そんなことより友達になろうよ。
That's why I got this
すげえ勇気だ。
Look
うわ
into me.
ー、これやられると、お、
She's looking away.
あ、そっか、見なきゃいいのか。いや、簡単だな。 絶対合わせようとしないよ。そりゃそう。アテナに言いつけてやるぞ。いやでも同情しとこう。アテナのせいなんだろう。お。
Athena made you like this.
She was mad at me. So
アテナ恐れてんのかな。
Well, why was she mad?
she said I'd been bad.
Had you
いやもう今十分悪いことしてない。
Now look
そう、しかし
into
緑を選んだ方がいいんじゃないか。
Listen, Medusa. She hides you in shame, but she uses you all the same. You could live another way. If I was treated like you, I'd be a monster too.
That's kind to say, but you could never be a creature like me. You didn't kill
Calliope.
あれ知ってんのかじゃあ。カリオペ殺してないことを。
You know that it's true that I
なぜ知ってる
do it.
やはり見たのか
Yes, you do know you notice that me.
成長で見たのか
Athena knows.
何
Okay.
くそ肝心なところがわからない英語で
You're not gonna watch.
ディナータイム
Finally grace.
Just like fate made you, fate played me. Just like fate
won't see what your eyes see when you look at me. Don't look at me.
さっきあんな見ろって言ってたのにお来てたの
You think that will hurt me, child?
火炎放射器で
You have not done your homework.
Oh, sorry, just trying to get your attention.
お結構ビビっ
I've
て
been
る
watching, and I'm
意
going
外と
to
可愛い
bet you can't turn me to stone before I burn your snakes off.
大丈夫だフレディ一旦落ち着け
Hey, stand down, Freddy. Let's give Medusa some space.
結構火嫌いなのか
okay. I'm watching her though.
You ready to talk?
Oh, fine. Fine. What exactly is it that you want?
すげえフレデ
from
ィ
you?
めっちゃ聞いてるじゃんメデューサにそれ成長にいたのいやいたんでしょ
You were at the reliquary the night Calliope was murdered. I want to know why.
アテナに指示されたんじゃないの
This is why I didn't tell Lady Athena. I knew it would come back to haunt me. I only followed pretty Calliope to the reliquary. I never spoke to her, never even caught up to her. I swear it.
That's what Asterion
なんで
told
追ったの
us, more or less.
そうね
But you were there that night.
Yes, yes, I admit it. Ugh, Lady Athena will have my head. She'll mount it on a pike.
怖っ
Whatever you
アテ
might
ナそんな
think
こと
of
すんの
me, I had no part in the muse's death. I did not even know she'd been attacked until I saw her fleeing.
だとしたらすげえ無駄足になるんだけどあなたを信じる理由は
Why should we believe you? You did just try to eat me, remember?
I am telling you the truth.
Right, and not at all trying to cover your own ass.
You presented an opportunity. Oh, to taste the sweet, sweet blood of a
いや
hero
こいつ自身に
once
問題があるな
again.
ちょっと普通に
It's a problem. I've been working on it, I really have.
本当か
Uh-huh.
Well, what of Pan? The only reason I knew Calliope was going to the reliquary is because he informed me.
そうなの
So much for never lying to me.
What were the odds, honestly?
Let's put a pin in that for the moment, shall we?
I
おいあい
am
つ
a
怪しいじゃねえか普
monster.
通に
It's true, I do not deny it. It's still, I did not kill the muse.
なんかそんな気はするな今のところどうしようかなどうしてカリオペを追跡してたの、それ気になるよな普通に
You followed Calliope to the reliquary. Why were you shadowing her at all?
I am Lady Athena's spy master, yes.
うん
Calliope has been
まあじゃあアテナの
from
命
time
か
to time.
So you were spying on her.
I keep watch over every
火消えて
idol
る
who
フ
no
レディ
longer lives in Olympus, but especially Calliope. When I realized she was headed to the reliquary that eve, I followed. I had a duty to Athena.
カリオペがどうしてそこにいたのかは分かったの
Did you ever find out why Calliope went there?
I was never close enough to ask. When I drew near to the reliquary, that is when I saw the muse fleeing.
あもうその時にはもう怪我を負ってたのか
Bloodied. Dying.
Let me guess, that made you hungry.
I gave chase, yes, but to discover the
思い出してお
truth,
腹すかす
I
な
knew Lady Athena would wish to know.
Does make sense from your perspective.
まあそうね
Didn't learn the truth until later. And then it was far too late.
なるほど矛盾はない アテナには言わなかったの？なんで言わなかったの？
You haven't told Athena any of this?
Do I need to light things up again? 'Cause I'll do it.
I told her Calliope was at the reliquary that night. I did not tell her I was also there.
Why not? Wouldn't Athena find out from Hecate anyway?
I was not thinking clearly. I panicked.
本当か？
Lady Athena barely tolerates my presence as it is. If she thought I was involved in
あ
any
あ、
way,
それ？
if she even suspected.
なるほどね。ちょっとでも疑われたらもう消されると思ったから言わなかったわけね。いや逆に消されねそれ。後でバレて。アステリオンはあなたと会ったって言ってた。
Asterion said he caught up with you out in the fog. Is that right?
I thought he was the one who had attacked her. He is a great beast of a creature.
He killed Hecate's cat by accident. But this still seems hard to believe.
まあ猫殺してるけど
Yes, I
ね。
only
十分
realized
罪
my
だけど。
mistake once I caught up to him, and by then the muse was gone.
And you never found her afterwards?
I thought she might flee to her pretty home, or to the sharp and prickly Persephone. She did neither.
She came to see me.
まっすぐね、おかしなことだよ。なんで俺に会いに来たんだ？もう質問は十分したわ。これ以上聞けることはなさそうだな。
Okay, let's say we believe you. For the moment.
Whatever you do, pretty muse, I beg you. Do not tell Athena of my indiscretion. Show mercy.
めっちゃビクビクだな。
I know what I am horrifies you. It horrifies me as well. I cannot help what I am. I did not ask to be cursed like this.
アテナ悪いやつじゃねえ？まあ考えとくよ。俺も別に今んところひどいことはされてないし。
Indiscretion, huh? That's quite the word for it.
I cannot apologize for my hunger. I can only apologize that I am so very weak in the face of it.
I'll think about it.
I am a lost and cursed thing. No idol. And if Lady Athena should learn the truth, I hope you find what you seek, pretty muse. And that we meet again someday. And sing a different song.
アテナ怪しいけどな。あれ普通に入れてくれてたの？
He knew. Right from the
用心棒
start,
何してん
Pan
の？
knew Calliope was there that night.
Yeah, and who
Oh,
could have
nah.
foreseen that he was lying to you the entire time? Who, I ask you, a mystery even the Oracle couldn't have penetrated.
でもよくわかんない。意味がわからないよ。なんかこんがらがってきたよ。
It just doesn't make sense. Pan sent me to the reliquary. If he's involved, why would he do that?
I don't know. Guilt, maybe? Anyhow, you probably have a few questions for Mr. Goatman. I'll see you at home.
よほど会いたくないんだね。ありがとう。最高だったよ。いや、ほんと、フレディがいてよかったな、マジで。
Would you
あの火炎放
really
射
have
がめ
tried
ちゃ
to
くちゃ効い
burn
てた。
Medusa's face off with an aerosol can?
Hell yeah!
めっちゃビビって
One-handed
たしな。
googly eyes and...
その武器は使わなかった
What
け
would
ど。
I do without you?
いいコンビだな。
You'll never need to answer that question, Grace.
ありがとう。やいパン。てめえ。
Oh, if it isn't, the lovely Grace?
You knew. Right from the start, you knew Calliope was there that night.
Well, yes. She asked for the key and I gave it to her, no questions asked.
なん
I
で
told you I didn't know what happened to Calliope, and that's the truth. I did not. So I nudged you in the right direction.
最初から言ってくれればよかったじゃん。なんでそんなことを？
Why? Is there some reason you need to know what happened to Calliope?
Is that so strange? Don't we all desire justice?
You sent me to the reliquary because you wanted justice.
なんだその顔は。
Medusa learned that Calliope was going to the reliquary because I told her. Now, before you say anything, I had no idea of the fate awaiting our dear muse. And you yourself said Medusa was not responsible. I simply had to know if I'd inadvertently, rather innocently...
うっかり。うん。二つしかない。同じようなことじゃないのこれ。あんた彼女裏切ったんだよ。
Sold her out? She came to you for help, and you gave her whereabouts to the highest bidder.
I am trying to help Grace. In my way.
What do you mean, in my way? What way is that?
The way where I don't take all the blame.
なんだかな。
What else will I discover, Pan? I'd rather learn it now than later.
I wish I could tell you, Grace. I truly do.
なんで教えられないんだよ。どういうことだよ。あ、とりあえず今は家に帰ろう。もう5日目だった。結構先に行ってた。普通に2日目ぐらいかと思ってた。はい、ということで今回ここまで。じゃあ、ありがとうございました。